Hi there, gamers. Welcome along to this week's podcast. It's the Game and Respawn podcast here on My Games Lounge. I am Respawn Roscoe, and I'm joined by my good friend David Game. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, thank you very much, Ross.
Very, very nice to be back with the podcast again. We've had a little break because there's just been so many games out. But this week, what we're going to do is going to wrap up a fair few games. There's no huge subject going on this week. We're just going to talk a little bit about some big games. Starting with Mass Effect, we're going to move on to all the first-person shooters that have been out recently, and then we're going to go talk a little bit about Dishonored, switch it up and talk about some Nintendo Switch. There's a little bit of information come out, and we like to keep up to date on the Switch as it builds up. And lastly, David Game's going to wrap around the internet for all the latest updates and interesting facts you might have missed as you've been going around your gaming coverage. I'd just like to add a site announcement for My Games Lounge. If you use apps called Appy Gamer or Appy Geek by News Republic, we're on there now, so we're part of the partnership with those guys. So if you're on those apps, make sure you follow mygameslounge.com and you can get all our articles right to your phone. Saves us making an app. Right then, let's start with something that I have been awaiting for a long time as a huge fan of the series Mass Effect. It was November the 7th, or N7 Day as it's affectionately known between us Mass Effect fans. It was a good day, and BioWare delivered a trailer. They didn't deliver much more than that. David, I know you haven't quite managed to see it yet, but how do you feel about Mass Effect Andromeda coming up for next year?
I feel the exact same way I feel about Red Dead. We know it's going to be a good game. If you're not going to show us anything significant, don't show us anything at all. Like, that's just how I feel about it. But I know that's not how it works, Russ. You know, I can imagine anyone listening to this now, it's not how the industry... Yeah, I'm aware. Look, I follow this stuff. I do know that if you say the words Mass Effect, people's ears prick up and go, huh? Like, and that's it. Like, you know, they act like a Metal Gear Solid guard heard something like, what?
The exclamation mark literally came above my head. Mass Effect.
And people will flock to it, you know. There's nothing against, you know, it's marketing. But that's when you do what we do, Ross, a lot, and you follow this stuff so much, marketing becomes boring. Let's be honest. Like, so as exciting as this probably is for Mass Effect fans, you know, people that are purely going their day-to-day lives, doing other things that aren't completely surrounded in gaming and making you completely jaded at times. When a Mass Effect trailer pops up, you probably go, "Oh wow, Mass Effect trailer! I haven't been following anything to do with this since the last time they showed us." Like almost nothing at what was it, E3 or Paris Games?
Yeah, it was at the
Gamescom.
EA Play event.
Was it? Yeah.
There was a little bit of I think there was like a behind the scenes type video, maybe more recently than that. But
I think Gamescom had the weird gameplay trailer.
Yeah.
And not weird, but you know, it
was the really PlayStation Pro meeting.
Oh yeah, the meeting.
Because it was in 4K,
forgot that was.
And we saw this kind of there wasn't really any kind of placement as to why am I in this dark cave with lots of what's going on. You just kind of dropped in the game somewhere.
It was for the sake of HDR, wasn't it? The high dynamic range.
See the darkness and the contrast and stuff.
The blacker blacks.
It's really it was so black.
So yeah, it was. I haven't seen the trailer because I'm not too fussed. I know it's going to be a good game, and I think again it's just my whole thing on media consumption now. It's like I didn't watch any of the Dishonored 2 trailers. I watched like the first one they ever did, and then it was like, well, I'm done with this outside of like massive things like E3 because I don't need to see 1,001 things about this. You have me already, and that's the same situation for Mass Effect but this isn't aimed at me. The person that they've definitely got. This is aimed at the people they don't have yet. This is designed to get people talking about it so that more people talk about it. I understand that. It's the system that we kind of live in.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with the Mass Effect. They don't actually need to show too much, and people will grab it. People will just dive on it. Like, you know, comparison to Red Dead Redemption 2, they could say nothing. They could say it's out next week, and people would find the millions, and you know, they would make the money. But I will say this, it was a cool trailer. It was definitely the trailer that we've, as fans, kind of been waiting for. It just didn't come with anything else with it, really. That was the thing. We got to see the new character who's called Ryder, spelt with a Y. You get to give them the first name, and it seems like a family affair. You've gone to the Andromeda Galaxy. There's a bit of conflicting information on this. Now, you've either gone just before the end of Mass Effect 1 or after the end of Mass Effect 1. If you've played Mass Effect, you should obviously know that in the first one, Shepard, at the start of the second one, Shepard dies, but they bring him back a couple of years later. And it's in that time, I think, between the two where he dies and gets brought back, that they sent these Pathfinders out. And yeah, it gave us a little glimpse of gameplay. There was a little bit kind of like gameplay looking, shooting at a big monster. There were all the races in there that you've kind of brought with you on this Pathfinder ship. And it looked really, really good. I was impressed. I did an article actually on My Games Lounge. It was 7 crucial Mass Effect Andromeda details we want revealed on N7 Day, and I went into things like that we wanted to see who you were and your crew, who are the villains of the piece, is it going to be more RPG, is it going to be more shooter, how's the open world going to work, how does space travel work, will there be space combat this time, maybe, if they wanted to mix it up, and when's it actually coming out. We didn't really get much answers to any of those things, to be honest, but they are going to drop some more on us at the Game Awards, which is in the first week of December, I believe, so hopefully we'll get some more details then, and it's going to be gameplay all the way from what we've been told.
Well, that's good. I mean, I am interested in things that aren't story-based trailers now. Again, not that that's not a vital component of Mass Effect, obviously it is, but I want to know the mechanics. Like you said, like you got the 7, these 7 things you want. I want to know, how is it going to be more Mass Effect 1 RPG? Is it going to be more Mass Effect 2 shooter? Is it going to be...
That is what they're kind of hinting at. They're saying it's the spiritual successor to Mass
the
Effect
original
1 rather than the direction they took for 2 and 3. But I doubt they're going to bring back Mass Effect 1 shooting mechanics.
No, yeah, that was... I mean, I liked the ability usage in 1, even though it was a bit janky. I do think they did it better in the later games. And yeah, it did become more action RPG, didn't it?
It became a shooter. I mean, to be honest, 3 was
it did become a shooter, yeah.
with RPG elements, didn't it, really? But it was
3 got a real cover shootery. That was... it was a bit much, really. Yeah, exactly. Actually, very much inspired by the craze at the time, and we've still got games that live off that legacy, like The Division. That's doing the same kind of thing. In essence, I would say like The Division's heavily influenced by like varying degrees of Mass Effect and Gears of War. Like that. That's the kind of like the lasting impact these games have had. But like I said to you, mate, I wish they'd make a new IP. I wish they'd have left it and. Again, maybe I kind of feel like the reaction to 3 and the mixed reception of 3 is why they're revisiting Mass Effect. Not that they shouldn't, because I know there's a lot of people that are fans of Mass Effect, and I'm a fan of Mass Effect. I'm just not a die-hard, like, Mass Effect, I have to play that. I'm definitely going to when it comes out, but it's not going to be the end of the world for me if it's, in the unlikely event that it's not as good as people want it to be. But Mass Effect, I felt like, hey, we were doing a trilogy and we did our trilogy. That would have been fine. And now I kind of feel I feel like it's a bit of a wasted opportunity, actually, doing what they seem to be doing. Because when they first announced Andromeda, I do recall speculating, that's when things are the most exciting, when you don't have any details. I said, what if like you're a what is it, what's Garrus's race again?
Turian.
Turian, yeah, like what if you like the Turians and like different perspective, and all of a sudden, you're a human.
Yeah.
Like, okay. What are you doing? We already had 3 games with a human, the greatest of humans, one might say. So
that man was a legend. That lady was a legend, depended on what you like.
FemShep or Shep, and a lot of people prefer FemShep. I actually never played FemShep.
I've been through all 3 with both. So, I think both do a remarkable job. I think the voice acting is slightly better on FemShep. I think that's why they like it.
Yeah, a lot of people. Jennifer Hale was like the big thing for people on that one, and then she went and voiced Lightning, which was like the one redeeming feature of Lightning from Final Fantasy 13.
You will like Lightning.
Oh, it's the only thing about Lightning you will like. And even then, it's still broody nonsense in the script. But, Jennifer Hale makes whatever she does work most of the time. So the point is, with Mass Effect, I feel like they're missing an opportunity. Unless we get a real curveball and it's like, actually, you can be whatever race you want kind of thing. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy a directed narrative, which usually requires a more scripted kind of approach, a more, you can't do just whatever you want. I like, that's for as much as people like the freedom of Skyrim and all that, it would be a more interesting story, like a mainline story, if they said, okay, well, you have to be an Argonian in this because it's, the plot is all intrinsically linked to, like, Argonian history, and if you had to be a Nord in Skyrim because of the Dragonborn stuff, maybe it would be more interesting in that respect. But they're different kind of games. I understand. It was just really like,
I think when you go into like Dragon Age, though, I mean Dragon Age, particularly the original game, and Inquisition, they really did make it when you were different races. They made you feel like that had a huge impact on the game throughout. So it's not like they're not capable of doing it.
That's true. It still has a bit of this like looseness to it, though, where I don't think anyone's going to argue that Mass Effect has a tighter story overall than any Dragon Age, as good as Dragon Age can be. I mean, maybe there are people that would argue that, but I feel Mass Effect, they all have tighter stories. Especially the first Mass Effect with the whole Saren situation, I feel like they never had again, which is unfortunate. They never had a really good antagonist after that, which is the biggest shame of it. But Saren was awesome. The idea of that, I feel that Mass Effect, the fact that you're humans again, just feels like a wasted opportunity.
Well, we'll see. You've got a crew. Apparently,
I'm sure it's going to be great.
Yeah,
like no difference about it. But like, it would have been nice if you were the Asari, or if you were the Turian.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, there's clearly a crew there. There was quite a lot. There was the Asari. There was I think I saw an outline of a Turian and a Krogan there. So I mean, it
they're
could
definitely
be
on crew. Yeah,
it could be that you can play any member of your crew if you wanted to. I don't know. That would be an interesting
they're not
feature.
focusing on that, are they? It's Ryder. I mean, well, you're not gonna. Your Turian's not called Ryder, is it? Or shit.
Ryder too. They're all called Ryder. That's a
yeah, they're every single one of them. They've been adopted into the Ryder family.
You are Ryder Turian. It'd be interesting to see. They're bringing back loyalty missions, which is interesting. They were good in Mass Effect.
They were good. I enjoyed that in number 2.
Yeah. So it'd be good.
Did they have them in 3?
It'd be good to see more, and I think it is definitely time to see more. They're announcing it for spring. If you've not seen it, it's spring 2017.
Yeah, spring 2017.
No date, but when's
that could be anywhere from what is that, March through to June? Is that right?
Yeah, I guess it March, April through to June.
I don't want it in March. A lot of people are talking about March. Please don't do it in March. We've got Horizon. Which is February. We'll probably still be playing that, and I'm sure there's something in March that I'm completely forgetting about.
There's some big stuff. There's For Honor, which is also in February. Is it Ghost Recon Wildlands as well? That's out in that period of time. There's quite
I forgot about that.
There's quite a lot of big stuff coming up early on in 2017. I'm going to put a thing together on that soon.
Persona 5 in February.
Is that yours? Ooh, yeah,
14th of February. That should be everybody's.
Well,
Persona,
I'm looking forward to it. I've got to say, it looks good. Right, so we talked about Mass Effect. That was cool. I mean, I think we're looking forward to it. It's just
definitely. I think there's just questions that need to be asked.
Yeah, there's time for more, and there's no big. Before spring, there is no really big event other than the Game Awards, so they've got to hit something there.
That's true.
So it needs to be significant. Hopefully we get some full details about it. Shooters, onto shooting stuff. We like shooting stuff. There's been some big time shooters, not just in the past few months, this year. One of my favourites being Overwatch. I think it's fantastic. But in recent weeks, we've had Battlefield 1, which we've reviewed, and we've had Titanfall 2, which we've reviewed, and we've got Call of Duty Infinite Space Warfare, which I'm currently reviewing. And it's all been a bit high quality, I've got to be honest. I haven't finished Call of Duty yet, so I can't really speak on that one too much. But what I've played for the first few hours, it's good. It's COD, but it's good. Titanfall 2, my personal highlight for me, and Battlefield 1, exceptionally classic shooter, but it really, really works in the modern day. I know we've both played Titanfall 2, David. Are there any other of the shooters that are interesting you?
The Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty are interesting, not enough for me to... given that you are the luckiest man at the website at the moment, Russ, where you have these 6-hour campaigns to go through, as I undertake...
get all the 50-hour ones.
Yeah, I get the nightmare ones, which I both like and obviously dislike for varying reasons. But, so I don't really get the opportunity to pick up, playing Titanfall 2 was a treat. Literally coming off of Dragon Quest Builders and World of Final Fantasy, which were both, I believe, roughly 40 hours or more games. Especially Dragon Quest Builders was surprisingly dense, and it shouldn't have been.
It's in our list of 7 amazingly long games.
Yeah, I saw it there, and I
think sad.
Trump might be preferable.
It won't go that far.
But no, maybe not actually. But no, it's a good game, but it really does it drags its feet. And playing Titanfall 2 in comparison, I was so happy. I was like, yes. I literally got through it on the Saturday and the Sunday of last weekend. And I was like, yes, something I can jump into. And it's got a multiplayer that can keep people going. And that's the thing with Titanfall 2 is a big concern for people is whether or not the multiplayer is going to have any legs, which is, I understand that's a concern, seeing as Titanfall 1 fell off because of that. But the fact that this campaign was very well crafted. I didn't feel like it dragged its feet at all. We've already spoken. I felt it could have used a bit more exposition at the start about, Harmony and your mentor. There are jarring bits. The Metal Gear like boss battles, not in practice but in terms of setup, and having no real payoff to them in terms of the character personalities is a bit disappointing. But the relationship between Cooper and BT was a big thing for me. I really enjoyed it. I know there's some people that didn't, but I thought it was a good dynamic. And I'm doing my best not to go into any spoiler territory.
Yeah, that's the thing with it. You got to be careful, and you just want people to go into Titanfall 2 and experience that story because it's really, really good throughout. I mean, you got to remember as well, we're traditionally RPG gamers, and we're good. I mean, I'm quite good at picking a story apart as well, and I just thought for a first-person shooter game, I thought they did a fantastic job. And yeah, like you say, some people didn't quite get it, but I thought Cooper, BT, and especially BT's personality, because he's a robot. He could easily be no personality whatsoever, but he's really, really cool. He plays a very good role in it. But my highlight of the whole thing was just the balance of how you were never doing anything too much or too little. You were running along the walls and doing stuff as the pilot for a nice amount of time, but then they mixed it up and you were traveling through time back and forth. I thought that was a highlight.
That was a very cool mechanic. I enjoyed that. That
was a good mission, and there was one bit where you had to run across walls between time periods, which I thought was really, really clever. That was cool.
You've just reminded me of that. I forgot about that.
It was good, that bit. That was my favourite mission. But there was so much more to it throughout. And then, the character development through it was really good between the two. Like you say, they could have really expanded more. But it's a first-person shooter kind of story, so you do expect it to be a bit lighter than other stuff. I loved it. I thought it was great. The multiplayer is very, very good. I've got to say, I'm enjoying the multiplayer. I don't enjoy multiplayer often because I just get shot all the time. I have no reaction. I'm like, oh, there's a guy there. Oh, it's a red guy. Oh, I'm dead.
We've gotten older, us. We're actually past the esports level of age, so that's the problem.
I have never been at the esports level. So, yeah, but I really, really enjoyed the multiplayer. I'm gonna go on. I think there's 9. I've just done the review and I've checked it all. I'm sure there's like 9 maps and there's loads of modes, and there's lots to enjoy in there. There's lots of upgrades and stuff. And the best thing, and I never thought I'd say this about an EA game, the stuff that anything gets made afterwards, the DLC packs, the extra maps, free people.
It's just cosmetic purchases, isn't it?
Yeah, you can pay for tickets to go into the Colosseum mode and be pilot versus pilot, which is actually quite fun. Not for me,
but not essential. Yeah,
no, you don't need to. It's a laugh. It's a jewel, and it's fun, especially with your mates and stuff. It's great. But no, just the main modes, really really fun. Upgrade, get better Titans, get better weapons. I loved it, and I think it's one of the shooters of the year for me. I think I would put it in the same class as Overwatch. I haven't played Doom yet. I've got it as a bonus game.
Really?
No, I haven't had time.
Okay.
Children and things, unfortunately.
Yeah, you do have Parenthood and Real Job.
Yeah, that's Real Job and Parenthood. That takes my game playing to it is like 50 hours for me to do a 6-hour campaign because my son keeps waking up.
You're. That's why you have the smart. There is no. If you had to do Dragon Quest Builders, you wouldn't get it done. That's why we don't.
I would still be building it.
Yes, exactly.
But yeah, I really enjoyed Titanfall 2. I also really enjoyed Battlefield 1. As a personal preference, I would prefer to play Titanfall 2. But I really, really enjoyed Battlefield 1 for that classic shooter experience. I just maybe don't think there's as much content in there. But that's a DICE game. There's a difference between a DICE game and a Respawn game, I guess. But DICE have obviously got the following. People are going to buy that. No matter what. So Titanfall 2's got to be competitive even against another EA game, and you get quite a lot of content. So I would highly recommend people get that. At the same time, I wouldn't miss out on Battlefield 1. And Call of Duty, I've played about 3-4 hours, a couple of hours in multiplayer, a couple of hours the campaign. And it's Call of Duty. It feels Call of Duty-ish. But I will say this, I will highlight this straight away. The campaign really does put boots on the ground. It's the first trophy you get, actually. It says boots on the ground. They're very emphasizing it's a traditional COD in the sense of, you're not just up in space shooting stuff all the time. It does put your boots on the ground. You get out there. There's lots of rubble, things blowing up around you. It's good. And the voice acting is outstandingly good. But if you've seen the cast, you'll understand why. It's very, very well done. I'm not sure about how the story is going to hold together as a plot, but the characters within it are very, very well acted so far. I'll be doing something on that over the weekend for you to read on My Games Lounge. Are you going to be playing Infinite Warfare at some point, Dave? Or am I sending you the disc?
At this point, the only chance I've got of playing that now is there if you send it my way.
I'm definitely not going to buy
it. I can't boomerang it at this point either, the rental service we use. So I thought about COD. I actually came down to the wire on whether or not I was going to get Titanfall or COD out. I decided to go for Titanfall because I just wanted something that wasn't the traditional experience. I mean, Call of Duty, no matter how much they kind of, I was very much put off by the whole, pre-order this and get Modern Warfare remastered. And I don't know, you offered me the opportunity to review the remastered Modern Warfare, and I said no. And that was because I was in the middle of, I think, Dragon Quest Builders and didn't anticipate how bad that would be.
You didn't.
I want to be clear. I sound like I'm being really down on that game. The game's actually pretty good, but it is painstakingly long. So when I say bad, I mean it was an unexpected occurrence. I didn't end up playing. The thing that really got me about Infinite Warfare was just that real kind of baiting that they're doing with people with that Modern Warfare remastered that really rubbed me the wrong way. From a PR perspective, it really bothered me the way they were handling that. I know it shouldn't be a big deal. When I say it bothered me, trust me, I'm sleeping at night. I really couldn't care less about Call of Duty on that level. I'm not sleeping at night generally, Ross, but that's not the point, right? What I'm saying is,
you're sleeping during the afternoon. You're a nocturnal person.
I'm very nocturnal at the moment. So Call of Duty is not the reason for that nocturnal nature. The dangling of Modern Warfare Remastered and the way they've handled you have to have the disc in if you want to play it. I was like, this is disgusting, quite frankly. This is just, it's unacceptable in my opinion. It's like to tell people, hey, you bought this special edition, good for you, But if you trade this game in, you can't play Modern Warfare Remastered. Like that, I know they're trying to prevent people trading it back in, but that shows a woeful lack of confidence in your actual game, and B, just like poor practice, poor consumer practice, in my opinion. I don't understand. Do they not believe Infinite Warfare is good enough to stand on its own two legs? That's what it feels like. Because it seems good, and I'm sure you said the campaign so far has been good. I have not been one of the people going, "Oh, Space Card, wow!"
Space Card.
Like that seems to be it seems to be a very big thing for people on the internet to whinge about Space Card, and it was the first one that I thought actually looked interesting for the first time in a while. That. I had no problems in that sense. I started having the problems when they started locking the remastered Modern Warfare behind this wall, this strange kind of, you need to be playing Infinite Warfare if you want to play Modern Warfare Remastered. It was really grimy. And even grimier still to me was the opportunity that we had the opportunity to review remastered Modern Warfare without playing Infinite Warfare, an opportunity that consumers do not have. That was even grimier to me. That it really bothered me, Ross, and that put me completely off the whole Call of Duty cycle this year.
Yeah, because I can see that. I mean, I think one of the fights that Activision have got with this year's is this kind of the battling against a preconceived idea that it's going to be bad, and the test. I remember this massively because they got me with it. And the test for the preconceived idea was at E3 when no, hey, we're Activision, this is Call of Duty. It was, you were just watching the PlayStation conference and you were dropped into space and there was this cool first-person shooter gameplay and I was like, whoa, this is looking good. I like this. What the hell is this? And it was Call of Duty Infinite Warfare at the end, slap in the face. Ha! We made you think this game's good even though you already think it's crap. So I think they're battling against some preconceived ideas with it, and they've done a lot of marketing to kind of put people away from that mentality and trying to show that, well, screw it, let's just go to space, let's have fun, don't have preconceived ideas, it is going to be a Call of Duty experience. And what they've tried to do that is this thing with the Modern Warfare Remastered. But saying that, if people keep crying out and they want to make some money, they're going to have to allow people to just be able to get it and to have it on their system as a purchase of its own. It is unfair to make you have to keep something that maybe you don't want to keep. If you've played something through and you're done with it and you want to trade it in and get something else, you should be able to do that without losing your bonus. It is unfair, and I'm certain that at some point in the future they'll have to do something so that you can just play Modern Warfare Remastered how it was meant to be played. But maybe they're just doing it to kind of keep people, give Infinite Warfare a chance, if you like, and stop those preconceived ideas. But people would have bought COD anyway. That's what I don't understand. People will buy, even if it looks awful, even if people don't care about it. They've got such a massive fan following that everyone would have bought it anyway, even though it was crap, just so they could say it's crap.
I've got to say, it's possible that would have happened, but honestly, I think if they would have separately released... here's the thing, as grimy as the business practice is behind it, this is my idea was they should have done Modern Warfare Remastered halfway through next year to get hype for Call of Duty all over again. Because, like you said, people would have bought Infinite Warfare regardless. That would have happened. If they would have released them both separately, I actually think that would have been harmful to Infinite Warfare.
Yeah,
I do
think
that people,
that would be.
Yeah, at the same time would have been even a month removed. Look at the sales of Titanfall 2s. Anecdotally, seem to be a problem compared to the initial release, and that's largely supposedly due to Battlefield being so close to it and Call of Duty being so close after it.
It was the meat in the first person shooter sandwich, and unfortunately, it's not the biggest franchise of the three.
It was a very silly time to release it. I think they're still EA is still standing by it. There's a bunch of quotes out there you can all go read. But I firmly feel like they should have saved it till January.
it's the best. It's still going to end up being the best one of the three. You know, it's the least like big name, if you like, least expectations perhaps as well. But for me, it's the best one of the three.
I think again, like largely in terms of the campaign, due to Matt Mercer and Glenn Steinbaum as Cooper and BT respectively. But then again, I actually want to be clear about that one as well. I really like Matt Mercer. It's the first time I know of Glenn Steinbaum, but not Matt Mercer's starring role. I would say not a particularly strenuous role for him. Very very down the middle standard guy, if you get what I'm saying. Like, you know, there's nothing particularly strenuous about that character to play.
No, he's just a kind of
he's just basically, they said, "Hey Matt, can you go in the booth and be Matt?"
Yeah,
and he was like, "Yeah, no worries. Just call yourself Jack instead." And he's like, "All right, cool." And again, no disrespect to Matt Mercer, should he ever listen to this. Like, you know, I've enjoyed him in many a game, like the Tales of games, where he's played Alvin, who's one of the most interesting characters in the Zestiria group. So, no, not Zestiria. Sorry, Exilia. Zestiria was the poor kind of Tales of game. Anyway, I'm going off track on that one. But yeah, as you say, like, you know, Call of Duty is more about the star pull and all that. I know I hear they have people that know nothing in there. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Yeah, of course. Good old Kit Harington's all up in there. So yeah, I mean, Call of Duty, again, I don't want to be down on any of this. I think Titanfall would have done better in January, in my opinion. I feel like people would have been starved for something after the Christmas period, and boom, Titanfall 2 could have done real well. EA are a big company that know that, and I'm really surprised that they sandwiched their game in between. Although, from the people I listen to, there are compelling arguments to, I guess, EA were trying to get the past and the future warfare together and just take on Call of Duty at both fronts to make sure that Call of Duty couldn't make a move, except that anyone that's not an idiot can understand that the name Call of Duty is going to sell games regardless. So Titanfall 2 being next to it's not going to do anything. I don't know, man. Sometimes I think it doesn't matter how good your game is when there's a game with unimaginable name recognition next to it. You don't nobody puts any game near a Grand Theft Auto. It doesn't matter if it's Connectimals. It doesn't matter if it's Forza Horizon 4. It doesn't matter. You don't put it near Grand Theft Auto. Do you know why? Because it's Grand Theft Auto. And Call of Duty is on that level, mate. It's not just in shooters, it's in the whole industry.
Yeah.
Yes, you can put other games around it. We've seen that because shooters are shooters in that sense. It's not as Grand Theft Auto-y in that sense. It's not a 5-year event. Although if they did take another 5 years to do an incredible Call of Duty, then that would become that kind of event. If they went away for 5 years now and didn't do a Call of Duty and then went, bam, Call of Duty, Warfare redone, and it's like, people are, you know, that would be an event. Much like...
Well, they are saying there are conversations going around that much like Assassin's Creed's taken that break, you know? Does Call of Duty need to do the same? I mean, they pass it around enough studios.
Yeah, there's 3 different studios doing those games, Russ. So like, they already get a 3-year break. Like I say a break. They get a 3-year cycle. Yeah. I think people are conflating the idea that you know, Assassin's Creed's core team was Assassin's Creed. Like, just generally, that was Assassin's Creed. When an Assassin's Creed game came out, it was them. When a Call of Duty game comes out, it's generally accepted knowledge that it's a new studio every 3 years. Like, not a new studio, but like the differing handoffs every 3 years. So no, they have more than enough time to get what they need doing. In all honesty, I think that just gives most of them the leeway to get like the big names in. Like, you know, when Kit Harington's not filming Game of Thrones, he can come in, do his lines and do his mocap and leave. Essentially, that's what it is. That's why, like, you know, games like Destiny couldn't do that when they need constant updating to keep Peter Dinklage there, so they have to change him for Nolan North because it's just more viable. Those are the kind of experiences. But to bring it back around to the whole shooting, like, you know, first-person shooter I guess not argument. Titanfall 2 should have been kept till January, in my opinion. I think it would have done way better. I think it will now not get the attention it deserved. Very much in the same way I feel about World of Final Fantasy. It came out on a day that 3 other games came out that are arguably much bigger than it. Skyrim Special Edition, Titanfall 2, even itself, bigger than World of Final Fantasy. And what was the third game in that lot? There was 4 games out on the 28th of January. Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, which has the Dragon Ball name recognition. And comes off the back of a really good reboot of that kind of franchise. World of Final Fantasy is not getting a look in for anyone pretty much because people are busy playing Skyrim, they're busy playing Titanfall, and the anime more cartoonish people probably playing Dragon Ball. Like, there's so much around that. The same goes for Titanfall being sandwiched between 2 of the most prolific shooters of our time, Battlefield and Call of Duty, that they're lost. They're lost in the weeds, and it's not enough time.
I've got to say that before we move on to Dishonored 2, I just think that the October release schedule was awfully managed and organised. It seemed like no company talked to each other properly to schedule a release cycle that actually worked for them. It's harmful to them, but it's massively harmful to the consumers because people only have so much money. I say this, and I've said this in my article about all the games that were coming out in November. People have a set amount of money each month for their luxury things. And if you're into gaming, your luxury thing is gaming, but you still need food. And if you've got other responsibilities at home, like older gamers like myself and yourself do, you've got things to pay for that are more important. And if you're left with 40, 50 quid for your luxury item, you've got to pick one game that you want to buy, or you obviously sign up to a rental service and rent things, but people like to buy and own stuff, I get that. So you got to pick one, and when 5 are releasing on the same day, and then another 5 are releasing a few days later, and all of them have big names behind them, I don't know. I just feel like it's very difficult for someone to decide what to buy, and you're expecting people to spend hundreds of pounds. Plus, they've all got to buy DLC packs and special editions and all this stuff to get the, in Call of Duty's case, to get the Modern Warfare Remastered, which is excellent, by the way. I feel like this year has been bad organisation, and somewhere the consoles, the people at Microsoft, the people at PlayStation, and even people at Steam on PC need to just get together and talk back to these publishers and say, well, hang on a minute, this is what we've got penciled in for these dates. Can we not just release everything in fucking October, please? Can we stagger some of this stuff into November, into December, and maybe even push it into January where nothing comes out? It's been poor. I don't think it's been helpful for either developers or for publishers, or certainly not for gamers that have only got, as I say, a set amount of money. But if you have got a set amount of money this week and tomorrow, or today if you pre-ordered it, Dishonored 2 is finally here. Another Bethesda adventure for us to enjoy. If you've been enjoying Skyrim, that's just it's great stuff. I have to resist playing that. But I mean, Dishonored 2, one of my favourite experiences, I'm going to go with 2012 because I think that's when it was Dishonored. I thought it was absolutely brilliant from start to finish. Steampunkish world, maybe bordering cyberpunkish at times. Really well told story, a bit surreal, great powers, just so fun to play. And I cannot wait to get on with Dishonored 2 this evening. Are you going to be playing this one, David?
It's currently sitting in the PS4. Yeah, I haven't actually. I managed to get the download done before we started not the download, the patch updates and whatnot, done before we started recording. I was hoping to get a bit of time in with it before we started recording, but unfortunately, we didn't. As far as I'm aware, I don't know about you. No review copies. So mine's boomeranged in. So mine came this morning, but my nocturnal ways put me at a relative disadvantage trying to play that while I was playing Sword Art Online Hollow Realization over the general night, which has its own interest. The general night. The general night. To say that I didn't play it all night specifically when I had to do with some other stuff, but it's looking good, man. I've been excited for Dishonored 2 since before they announced it. The whole thing for me was like, I hope they do a Dishonored 2. The original Dishonored is one of my favorite games in general. Like, it's such a good game. People are kind of hard on some of the mechanics for Corvo's teleport, but if you played the DLC where you played as Daud, Daud's teleportation system was actually a lot better. I don't know if you played. I think you did.
I didn't actually play the DLC. No,
really?
No,
okay.
I got the. I have now got the definitive edition one, which comes with it. So I will be playing it at some point because I'd like to do a bit of a revisited thing later on this month. I do a Roscoe revisits section. Yeah. I'm doing Watch Dogs this next week to see where where number 2 needs to improve the game. For goodness sake, improve the game.
Apparently, it really does. That's what I'm hearing. But
it looks great. Don't get me wrong, it look great. But then Watch Dogs look great. Every Ubisoft game.
Watch Dogs.
Great.
I'm sorry, that's some hyperbole right there. Watch Dogs never look great. People say that so much, and I'm like, when I was looking at Watch Dogs back when it was coming out, I was like, no. Like all of this, just no.
I think the ideas, the setting, everything was good. They got the characters wrong, man. They got the characters big time wrong.
The concept's always been cool. It's just Aiden was never an appealing character. Not that he's the reason I don't like Lightning the same way, except he's even more obscure. Lightning. It's like, I'm a regular dude. I just in my family. Shut up, Aiden. Like, he's the worst, and I think we can all agree that he's the worst.
I'm Jack Bauer. But I'm not as cool as Jack Bauer.
God, he was a shell of Jack Bauer. He was the Jack Bauer that time forgot.
He was the Jack Bauer that went to the toilet.
Yes, exactly that. So with Dishonored 2, I'm gonna in terms of, so you didn't experience the better version of Blink.
I never had any issue with Blink. I thought Blink was an amazing power. I'm sure I played through pretty much only using Blink to try and get that trophy.
I'm with you. The Blink that Daud has is way better because it combines it with stop time.
Ah, cool. So
you can blink in midair and so it stops everything, including you, in midair, giving you the opportunity to make like a more tactical approach on something. Nice. Whereas, I do understand some of the criticisms for Blink in the original game were that you could mess up trying to get up somewhere with Blink, and that completely ruined your whole stealth section for a minute because you dropped down and someone saw you and it shouldn't have happened. And if you had the ability like Daud did to stop time, which is arguably why they did it, and I hope it is in Dishonored 2 as well.
Do you know what, Dave? Seriously, yeah? Don't fuck it up, right?
Yeah.
If I fall off, if I haven't got an ability, I don't go, I wish I had this ability. I've got the ability I've got, right? And if I fuck it up, that's my fault, isn't it? It's not their fault for not giving me more abilities. I've got an ability to go woof there and woof there. I've got to get it right, haven't I? Oh, Sonic.
I mean,
I wish Sonic could fly.
But Sonic kind of does fly, so that especially when he gets 7 Chaos Gems, that's it. It's all Chaos Emeralds. The thing with that is, again, that system occasionally suffered from the traditional Bethesda jank that we always give them a pass for, which is a real shame, and we should probably stop. I'm actually starting to get more on point with when your Skyrim Special Edition still has all of the issues that your original game had in 2011. Yeah. Starting to get a bit fed up of that kind of stuff. So Bethesda, I really do think, need to be taken more to task for a lot of things, and then they need to be praised for awesome things like Doom. Which Doom is incredible, and I'm looking forward to you actually playing it so we can talk about it.
It's a bonus Boomerang game.
It's so
it's
good.
On its way.
It is. I'll be interested to see if you feel as good about it. It is arguably the best first-person shooter I've played. Just pure chaos.
Chaos.
It's so
bloody, disgusting chaos.
It was just None of this cover shooter stuff, none of this hanging about hoping to recover some health, and it was just non-stop, mate. You will see. But that was just me. I'm not an old school Doom fan either, so that was the whole thing for me when it did come out, and I did play it, and I was like, wow, this is actually incredible. I can see why people love Doom, if this is what Doom always kind of was. So with Dishonored 2, I'm just hoping, I'm liking the idea of being either Corvo or Emily. They went the exact route I wanted them to do with Emily in particular, like, made her an actual relevant character this time around. Not that she was irrelevant in the last one, but she was a young girl.
Yeah, she was, what, was she 6, 7, something like that?
She was Corvo's purpose, basically. Yeah, and that was fine because that was understandable. But it's nice to see Emily come into her own and actually, become the queen, I guess, of this region. And
Empress Emily.
Empress, Empress. They do the whole Empress thing, don't they?
Yeah, it's very posh.
It's I always
it's a middle class. It's middle class area.
It's quite some caviar with her teleporting kill abilities. So I'm looking forward to doing her. If I play as Emily,
forward to doing her needs to not be in.
I was about to, I put that up at the wrong time. I was about to say doing her devouring abilities, but that probably would have sounded worse as well. Playing as Emily feels like the way I want to play it if I want to kill everyone, because of the ability to tear people apart.
And stuff. Yeah. I think it lends itself to high chaos, Emily, maybe. I don't know.
And I'm curious as to what Emily's like as a character as well. Is she like, Corvo? I always felt, I know you could play Corvo however you wanted to, but I always felt Corvo to be somewhat of a more heroic type character, a more virtuous kind of, playing it stealthily and trying not to kill people was the way to play Corvo in my mind, from the way I perceived Corvo. Despite all of the pure terrible things done to him, I felt that he still wanted to do the right thing.
Yeah, I agree.
And again, that's me putting my personal wants onto Corvo there, because you could play him as a vengeful.
That was the good thing about the way they did Corvo, because you could, with his silent protagonist, he was anything you wanted him to be in a way. He was you. He was almost you in that situation, and that's what made the first game so like absorbing for me, as well as the story and characters around it. So,
are you worried about that this time around?
No, I'm really. No. I would say if I was, but I trust the guys at Arcane. They've developed this for a long time. They've done an amazing job not letting anything leak. Amazing. I mean, obviously there'll be bits of stuff here and there, but I haven't looked particularly, so maybe I'm wrong. But I haven't seen them officially announce anything to make me think, I don't want to watch that. I don't want to spoil my experience. And I don't think, other than the last few days when there's been live streams, that there's been particular masses amounts of, don't read this article because it'll spoil your game for you type situations. So no, I'm looking forward to it. I've got an Xbox One copy. We have been supported by Bethesda on this one, so thank you to the PR guys at Bethesda. So yeah, I'm going on my Xbox One for this one, Dave.
On that usual 24-hour before policy?
It is unlocked today, so I can play it now, as soon as I get home and the children are in bed. I shall be getting on there, and I think what we should do is maybe you play one and I play the other, and we compare notes maybe next time we're on the podcast. That might be interesting.
Maybe I'm not guaranteeing that one there. Again, it's not mine to review, so
no, just being on the podcast for
I'm
a chat.
Not sure who I want to be quite yet. I am very intrigued by Emily.
I'm intrigued.
But I love Corvo. But again, as you say, Rosario Dawson's doing the voice of Emily and all that, so that's an interesting, appealing thing there. You can read about that over at Ross's article on the website as well. The voice artist spotlight for Rosario Dawson featured in Dishonored 2. But yeah, I'm very, very excited to play it. I do think it's going to be more Dishonored. It looks like more Dishonored, but that's all I ever wanted anyway. I'm not that fussed about. I want this new story. I want some new abilities, of course, and fix some of the general jank that could occur in Dishonored, which wasn't a lot actually, especially considering it was a Bethesda game. Although I guess that's a Bethesda published title rather than a Bethesda developed title. There's a very big difference in jank when it comes to that. So, you know, Arcane are proving to be a very valuable asset to Bethesda, I think. And I think Dishonored is a great IP that deserves that kind of attention. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool, man. Personally speaking, I can't wait to get started with it. I'm leaning towards maybe going as Carvo. So if you want to take Emily, I could take Carvo and we could have a chat. If not, we can just talk about how cool it is to play as the same person.
Either way, we're going to end up talking about how cool it is next week.
So yeah, get us on the new podcast. We're going to have to wrap things up in about 10 minutes as we get up to our hour. So if you could do your around the web news, that would be awesome.
As you know, Dave. It is called Peruse the News.
Peruse the News.
That's what we're doing. Okay, so we're starting off over at IGN, written by Alex Osborne. Diddy Kong Racing's sequel, the cancelled sequel's footage has been revealed. So Diddy Kong Racing had a sequel in the works. A sequel to Nintendo 64's Diddy Kong Racing was in development for Nintendo GameCube in 2004, and footage of the project has surfaced online. The latest episode of Past Present Online via Polygon sheds light on the project, which was in works at Climax Studios and titled Diddy Kong Racing Adventure. Now, you can read more about that and watch the actual video over at IGN.com. And it looks like I see Diddy Kong riding a rhino, so it seems like there was going to be more of an emphasis on the single player aspect of Diddy Kong Racing. Cool. So that's interesting. I played Diddy Kong Racing on the DS when they did the re-release, long after, due to the situation. Ross, I eventually played Diddy Kong Racing, and I thought it was a cool game. I was disappointed that there haven't been any modern iterations, so I hope they do that for the Switch. The second story is Nintendo confirms production of the Wii U to end production in Japan soon. That's a weird title, Polygon. Julia Alexander writes, ahead of the Switch's release in March, Nintendo has confirmed in Japan that production of the Wii U will cease. Let's see. Yeah, well, either way, I'm going to leave it at that. You can feel free to go to Polygon.
It's done.
It's pretty much all in the title, mate. Yeah, Julia Alexander's wrote up all about that over at Polygon. A second article from Polygon is Overwatch will be free to play from November the 18th to the 21st. So that is on PlayStation 4, Windows PC, and Xbox One. So that's a free weekend for you all. You'll have access to all 22 heroes and 13 maps, including quick play, custom games, and the weekly brawl. So, they're laying it all out bare for people to really give a go. Fair play to them. Then we have, over at Kotaku, the Xbox Holiday Update is rolling out with clubs, group chat, emojis, and more. This is the Xbox. This is written by Mike Fahey. The Xbox community across Xbox One, PC, and mobile platforms is about to get a whole lot more communal. Microsoft is rolling out the Xbox Holiday Update, making it easier to find friends, find games, and communicate with stupid little faces, as Mike puts. So that's that. You can go read that at Kotaku as well. You just need to know that the Xbox Holiday Update is rolling out. And over at Kotaku again, a new Final Fantasy 15 demo was just announced for Japan, written by Brian Ashcraft here. So that's all you really need to know about that. You can go read the article, but the fact is they're releasing a new demo in Japan that apparently covers the first bit of the game, like the prologue. The demo is between an hour and a half. So the demo goes from the opening up to the middle of episode 1 of the game. I'm not actually sure how many episodes are in the game, but still. That obviously is a small chunk of Final Fantasy 15. But as far as I can see, this is just Japan. And this is an understandable demo, Russ, unlike the Platinum demo, which is a bit of a weird choice to do.
That was strange.
Yeah, this one feels more like a, hey, we're releasing the game. Here's a taste of it before you buy. So that
as long as I fly to Japan, I can. I can try
as long
it
as you
before
fly
I
to
buy
Japan, can understand Japanese,
right.
And go through that whole thing. That would be good enough. I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing surface over here as well. It would be a bit of a wasted opportunity, in my opinion, if they didn't.
Hopefully.
You've got a lot of people that are weary about Final Fantasy 15. Giving them a taste of the final product probably is a good idea, in my opinion. So, I'm on board. My money has been taken for that collector's edition, Russ.
Has the money gone?
Yeah, that went at the start of the month, mate.
Man.
They had to lock it in. So that's going to be coming in the next 2 weeks, I imagine.
Nice.
So good times. So that is all of the somewhat relevant news I can see. Obviously, we have our own articles. Russ has been hard at work with reviews of Titanfall and Just Dance, and his editorial opinions, the 10 long PS4 and Xbox One games in 2016 to hide from the real world in, now that Trump is the president. And that was just me extending the title.
I didn't quite say that.
That's essentially what you meant, right? Now,
our leader is, just to the people, anyone listening in America, right? At least you had a choice of two dickheads. We just got given ours, and no one even likes her. No one even knows. No. She makes a Sith Lord look friendly. You know, you'd cuddle the Emperor before you gave her a cuddle. You know what I mean?
If you come within 5 yards of Theresa May, you actually freeze.
You might actually die.
No, you actually do get covered in frost. That's what happens. So that's pretty much the situation. But not to lay out our political landscape. Honestly, I'm not well versed enough in politics to really talk too much about it. Then obviously we've got a Return to Arkham review up on there. Basically, it's all Ross and then me with the occasional 50-hour game review on our website, and Neil with his wrestling review incoming. So that's our stand. Oh, and briefly to talk about brief review roundup for myself, if you want to throw in, feel free, Russ. Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, disappointing sequel to the first Xenoverse, relies too heavily on the original game, but does do some interesting things, like makes Canton City, or Canton rather, the hub world, a bit more friendly to the player, houses everything. It used to house a lot of things behind a lot of loading screens, Ross, in the original Xenoverse. Yeah. Now it's doing a better job of that. So cool. More of the same. And World of Final Fantasy, really good game. Is a very long game, which people want from their Final Fantasies. More traditional than what you might find in 15, even if the art is a lot more cutesy, but it's quite adorable. Fully voice acted in a way that's really impressive, like all the NPCs are voice acted. Good game. I really enjoyed it. Does go a bit off the deep end with the story at certain points where things start becoming all about time travel. Is more Kingdom Hearts in its presentation and story than Final Fantasy, but is more Final Fantasy in its classic Final Fantasy in its gameplay. So, World of Final Fantasy, shame it's going to get swallowed up by the holiday, but it is a really good game, and I'd advise any JRPG fans to check it out.
Nice one, Dave. Excuse me, need a cough button on this. I would say that of the games I've played, Titanfall 2, outstandingly good game. I've returned to Arkham, and the remaster's not amazing. It's not going to blow you away. Modern Warfare Remastered is the best remastered game I think I've played ever. It's fantastic. But it's just great to be Batman again, to go back to Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. I had to delete both games to stop me from going back to them. I got the digital copies, and I'm trying not to get all the the Riddler trophies and get everything done once again, because at its heart, it's a fantastic game. They didn't need to do an amazing remaster to this game. It's just so good to play. If you never played them before, if you played Arkham Knight and you didn't play Arkham Asylum and you didn't play Arkham City, get it. It's fantastic. Rent it, borrow it, do whatever you need to do. It's great. It's a wonderful game. Titanfall 2, buy it. It needs more sales. Battlefield 1, you will not be disappointed. It just feels like it's a bit better than what they did with Star Wars Battlefront in terms of content on day one. There is definitely a lot more content, but it is definitely a game that's made for the long-term investment. So you're going to need to get that season pass if you're going to really get the best out of Battlefield 1, I would say. Although it's very, very, very good as a car game. And those war stories are excellently done, well put together, and have quite a lot of gameplay in them. I'm currently, as I said, going to be reviewing Dishonored 2. I'm reviewing Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, which is pretty good. So yeah, there's lots of gaming going around. I've got a few bits to catch up on. We've just got a little bit on Killing Floor 2, which is coming out in a few weeks. We'll be getting some coverage on that going as soon as we're allowed to show it. And there's coming up, there's tomorrow, as I record this, it's probably today as you're listening to it, and Friday, we've got the Assassin's Creed 2 collection with all the Ezio story stuff that we'll be no doubt getting some coverage out on as soon as possible. And Watch Dogs 2 is next week, and let's hope it actually is a great, amazing game that ideas that Watch Dogs originally had can deliver upon, because it looks really, really good. This one, I have to admit, it looks great, but they managed to trick us with a few games. The Division looked great too. Lots of stuff coming up. Get on mygameslounge.com, see what we've got. Lots of articles, lots of stuff to read. David, thank you very much for joining me on this show today. Anything before we sign off?
No, I'm just working on Sword Art Online Hollow Realization. Go check out our live stream over on the YouTube channel. I did a brief, an hour-long live stream of the start of that game. It is very grindy. I was going to do more live streams and realized that would be the most boring thing on the planet if you were just doing it by yourself with no banter going on. So, it does not lend itself well to prolonged live streams. Although there may be some gameplay videos going up of the incredibly awkward dating mechanics in that game when you go out with the women in your party and go for walks. I may do some videos of that.
Cool.
So that's about it for me for the time being. That and Dishonored 2. We might have some footage up.
Yeah. A game where you can take one of your members of the party out for a walk is everything that people need in their life. Thank you for joining us.
Imagine if you could get the approval, Russ, of your wife just by nodding at her. That's this. You need to see it. I'll let you sign off now because you need to see it.
I don't even need to nod. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on this Game and Respawn podcast. We've been I've lost my shit now. I've been Respawn Roscoe. And
always will be.
I'm Respawn Roscoe. He's been David Game. Thank you for joining us on here. We will be back next week with some more. Thank you. Bye-bye.